Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic.
What's a modern-day poison people willingly ingest? Sips coffee. Takes bong hit. Doom scrolls Reddit. Fuck. I can't think of any. Edit. My favorite thing about this is the legions of people defending coffee and weed and literally nobody defending Reddit. Me ironically reading this as I hit my vape 15 minutes into waking up. 15 minutes? What took you so long? This shit. Truth. It's mostly low-quality information, incorrect information, and reposts of tweets. An endless cycle of nonsense. I'm not going to dispute your claim, but have you ever been on Twitter? 24-hour news cycle. My grandparents. All day every day. It pains me to see. I've noticed this among my age group. Boomers TV on practically 247. Especially news, and it repeats the same thing over and over. Spent the day with a friend and that's all they wanted to do was sit and watch the news. They'd comment on something. Then an hour later when the same story was repeated, they'd comment age like we hadn't already heard the same thing an hour ago. I don't even own a TV and everything about my life is so very, very different. Those shorts videos that now are almost in every platform. If you have problems with focus and getting shit done, then you know that if you keep watching them, you might end up in the next day without even realizing you haven't done anything yet. One creator I watch on YouTube has basically said, I have to resort to making these shorts or I'll disappear as a creator. It's crappy that these platforms are forcing it on everyone involved. Yay. I follow a few people and they're always apologizing about clickbait titles and misleading thumbnails, but say they don't get nearly as much traffic without them. Alcohol. Alcohol in moderation is fine to some people. They can have one or two. Others, like myself, let it get its nasty hands on our lives. It can turn you upside down quick like. Proud to say I'm 21 days sober and no plans of going back. Congratulations. Alcohol is literally a poison though, whether someone is addicted or not. Alcohol in any form is a poison and not good for you. The whole, 1 glass of red wine per day is good for your heart, is a myth. The WHO as well as many other orgs are finally coming out and agreeing it is straight toxic, carcinogenic and unnecessary. There is no solid science that proves that a drink is better than no drink. I'm 42 days into a sober spell and it's really opened my eyes to how messed up our society's relationship with alcohol is. So many events and hobbies are centered around drinking and many people have normalized drinking alcohol almost every day. My brother is a couple years sober and I asked him what stands out as weird now that he's sober. He said that you can go to a restaurant and casually order drugs with your meal. I thankfully haven't had a drink problem, partly due to the fact I was a barman in a shitty dive bar for nearly 10 years. I've seen what it can do to people and how easily it takes hold. Guys coming into the bar at 9 a.m. and drinking all day who leave sober and never eat because they have been drinking so much for so long that it doesn't do anything other than stop their shakes and fill them up. Social media. Deplatforming myself off of most social media has given me a huge change in mood for the better. I'm pretty sure with the amount of vitriol that gets thrown around in social media, I would have gone mental after a while. I'm glad that I have given myself more opportunities to live in the moment of my life rather than deal with others judging me for superficial and wasteful reasons. Edit. Added context. Outrage. It's straight up poison to your mental health, but we thrive on it, yearn for it. Places like TikTok, Twitter, and our public freakout pass it out like dealers for little more than some attention. Poisoning people to feel popular. Worse, it's useful to those in control, so there's no escaping it. Political parties and activists need you outraged, one-tracked, immune to real empathy, and motivated to solidify their power. So here we are. I read 1984 a few weeks ago, and the description of the 2 minutes hate honestly kind of scared me once I understood it. For context, it is a daily ceremony where all people gather around a TV-like device and watch a government propaganda broadcast focused on brewing hatred. Quote, the horrible thing about the 2 minutes hate was not that one was obliged to act a part, but, on the contrary, that it was impossible to avoid joining in. Within 30 seconds any pretense was always unnecessary. A hideous ecstasy of fear and vindictiveness, a desire to kill, to torture, to smash faces in with a sledgehammer, seemed to flow through the whole group of people like an electric current, turning one even against one's will into a grimacing, screaming lunatic. And yet the rage that one felt was an abstract, undirected emotion which could be switched from one object to another like the flame of a blowlamp. Quote, the best, read, worst thing about the 2 minutes of hate is that the propaganda they show is actually telling them the truth about their condition. So people are trained to willingly reject the truth when presented with it. I believe 1984 is the most important book ever written, and I find its almost mystical ability to explain every facet of propaganda and totalitarianism of any type quite amazing. Sometimes I find it hard to believe that this was written by a single British Army vet spending his twilight years depressed on a rainy island in the 40s. Edit. Thanks for the additional info on Orwell's life. I avoided scrolling through Reddit's popular feed for years because it was so full of outrage subs. Like, public freakout. Trashy. Idiots in cars. I am a total piece of shit, etc. I don't want that negativity in my feed. Once they added support for blacklisting subs, I immediately added those. Yeah, I did this too. It was almost surprising how much of a difference it made on my day. I didn't realize just how much it made me feel like shit and carried it through the day and to the people in my life. Found a bunch of uplifting, interesting, hobby subs, and it made Reddit such a more positive experience on my life.